Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I'm the festival director of Out on Film, Atlanta's LGBTQ Film Festival. This is our 38th year, and we have some amazing films as always. As always, our shorts programs are extraordinary. One of my absolute favorites is Simply Stunning, which pretty much speaks for itself. These are all stunning short films. It's a great lineup. We have two directors. Well, we have two people from films today. I'm gonna go around and let them introduce themselves. We'll start off with Lee.
Hi, my name's Lee Knight. I'm the writer, director of A Friend of Dorothy.
Hey everyone, my name is Kyle Gazichu. I am the writer, lead actor, and subject of After What Happened at the Library.
Thank you so much. Can both of you tell us a little bit about each of the projects and sort of where you are right now with your festival run?
Do you want me to start? Should I kick
Yeah,
off?
let's just do the same one if that's okay.
Yeah, okay. I've forgotten the question now. So, where are we in the
Yeah, just
festival?
tell us a little bit about your film and then where
Yeah.
you are right now in your festival run.
So, A Friend of Dorothy is a story that it's a fictional story inspired by a friendship that myself and my husband had with this elderly neighbor.
Yeah.
Um, and she's now no longer with us. But we had this wonderful friendship, and she was very passionate about me and my husband being actors, and it was joyful. It was very special, and we looked after her. And this film was inspired by that friendship, and it's about intergenerational friendship. It's about not judging someone for their age or gender or race or sexuality. And it's about two people at the opposite end of their lives that meet by chance and kind of change each other's life really. And where I am in the festival journey, we're sort of like I don't know whether halfway through is the right kind of thing to say. I think well underway is the right thing to say. I've been just got back from LA a few weeks ago, and I'm about to head to New York another few weeks. So yeah, we're in sort of a really exciting midpoint, I think.
And then after you screen it out on film, it's all downhill from there, like it's like
You mean we get some sleep?
you get some sleep
Yeah.
out.
No jet lag? My goodness.
No jet lag.
Even more dad, yeah.
Kyle?
Um, that sounds like a really great film, especially right now. I think that's something that we could all really appreciate. Um, yeah, so After What Happened at the Library is based on my true story. So I'm one of the founders of Drag Story Hour. And in 2022, far-right extremists stormed my reading at San Lorenzo Public Library, and it made viral headlines. They called me a tranny, a groomer, and an it, and I had to retreat to a bathroom and hide there until the authorities came. And when the authorities came, they were no help, and they didn't get any names or addresses or anything like that, of course. And so this is about the aftermath of that incident and uh, how public trauma is treated in the age of social media. Yeah, and in terms of festival run, I'd say we're probably smack dab in the middle. Uh, we've screened at Florida and Provincetown, uh, SF Film, and a bunch of others that I can't remember because it's 8 in the morning. Sorry. But yes, we're really excited to be at Out on Film, and I'm going to be there in person. I'm excited about that.
I'm so excited. Um, Kyle, I've actually, this is the second time I've interviewed you in the last couple of months. Thank you for that.
Yeah, totally.
But obviously, this film is very personal. Was it, was it difficult putting this out there and share, how difficult has it been sharing this project with the world?
It's funny because I think what was more difficult was uh, the direct aftermath of the
Yeah.
incident because, my DMs were just flooded with love letters and like hate speech and like transphobic messaging and trauma dumps. And then journalists would just request me to relive it over and over again. And so that's ultimately what this film is about. It's less about what happened at the library and more about how we turn public victims into like dark celebrities kind
Yeah.
of thing. Um, and so I realized that after this incident occurred and when journalists put the story out there, they were less interested in what I had to say and more interested in kind of using my interview and the sound bites to create their own narrative that didn't really fit me. And it wasn't what I wanted out there, and it didn't represent me. I felt like misrepresented. And so it's like one thing to experience something terrible and another thing for that to be mistold in the aftermath.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this film, is to kind of set the record straight and say, like, this is how it was. And it was really cathartic ultimately. Like, I didn't want to play myself initially because I was nervous about what that would feel like. And so we auditioned a bunch of people, and none of it felt quite right. And so I was talking to my director, and I was just like, I don't know, there's something missing. She's like, I wonder who would do this well. And I was like, ugh, yeah, I know. So I did it, and we ended up shooting on location at San Lorenzo. And so I was really nervous about it. But we had like social workers on set to kind of manage any sort of thing. We had like meetings with the extremists, playing people playing the extremists, to make sure that they were in the right headspace. And um, there was a lot of care put into the production, and so it ultimately felt good. Yeah.
Lee, was would you say your project is personal?
Yeah, deeply personal. I think actually the more audiences that see this and the more I get interviewed, the more I realize there are things woven in, and I'm sure you have this, Carl, there's things woven in that you don't even realize sometimes that are deeply personal. And I think there's a lot of there's an undercurrent of things that are deeply personal to me throughout the play. There's literature that's used. There's a play that's referenced in the film called The Inheritance by Matthew Lopez. My husband was actually in The Inheritance, which actually is a play about the
Yeah.
AIDS crisis that was in London and then went to Broadway, and it changed my life. That play actually made me realize not only what we inherit, through generations, but it also made me realize as an adult, there's a queer history to be proud of in your past. And it didn't dawn on me until I saw that play that actually, it's quite strange. But so it's very personal. It's very personal. And because it's about this elderly neighbor and very good friend that we had. It's an ode to that, and an ode to those friendships, and young queer people finding solace in someone and feeling safe with someone. And I think usually your elder women, female characters in your life. Yeah, for me anyway.
As filmmakers putting these projects together, something that I found very impressive was, these are projects that are character driven, and very rich, very nuanced characters in these. But can you talk about the challenge of telling your stories and having characters that are just fleshed out, but doing so in a fairly compressed amount of time?
Shall I go? I think that it's interesting, isn't it? Because my film is 22 minutes, and there was a lot of talk about it being shorter, making it shorter. And of course, you always want someone looking at your script and someone who you trust, a script editor, a producer, to help you cut. And but ultimately, I think what I realized was the film is the film. If you have that arc of your story and you have everything you need and that's essential, then I think if your film is 30 minutes, your film is 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get to that place. And I think it takes a while to trust. I mean, in A Friend of Dorothy, we shot an extra ending. I wrote an extra ending just because after meeting with my producer, one of my producers, we felt like maybe it needed something, and then it didn't. It's okay. We didn't use it, but we had that there as a kind of in case scene. But I think ultimately, um, I think the difficulty with short films, from what I've seen of many short films, is uh, a beginning, middle, and end in a short period of time. That giving the audience a complete story in a short time is quite a challenge, actually, I think. So, yeah.
Oh my God, Lee, you're like saying so many things that I've heard before, or echoing so many things I've heard before. Like everyone's like, it needs to be 11 to 13 minutes and like cut all this stuff and only like the necessary things. And ugh, it's like the bane of a filmmaker's existence, because obviously you want to pack so much in, like as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was so much about just the experience I had that I really wanted to pack in that didn't make it. We also shot a lot of things that didn't make it, and were ruthlessly cut, like kill your babies, as they say.
Yeah.
Um, but I really resonated with what you're saying in terms of, you just have to let the film be what it is and like whatever amount of time and whatever it's telling you. And I really do believe it's like a living, breathing thing, and you have to like pay attention and listen to that and into it what it needs. Like if I were to like my film is 15 minutes, and if I were to have cut it anymore, it would have felt like it lacked breathing space and anymore, and it might have felt a little too sprawling. But it's definitely a challenge to incorporate as much as you can into such a compact time. And what is essential and what is going to flesh out the world through detail is just like the artist's choice and such a difficult one.
Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't a question. This is more of a comment. A fanboy. Miriam Margolyes. I mean, wow. I didn't know. I didn't know who the cast was when I started watching this. It's like, oh my god, it's. But what was that experience like working with her?
She just texted me this morning, actually. She is like, yeah, yeah, we're like everyday texters now. I think we're going on the news together in a couple of weeks. She is it honestly, I could write a book on the journey with Miriam Margolyes. She's become one of the most special people in my life, not only because she of her support and acceptance to play the role that
Mhm.
I wrote for her. I actually wrote this for her. Before I met her, I wrote it for her. I was doing Hamlet with Ian McKellen in lockdown in Windsor, in the middle. I was staying in a cottage in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
And this idea came to me, and I thought, who could play this role? What 85-year-old could play this role? And so because it was written for her, she it moved her a lot, and she always said yes. So that's another story. Her commitment was unbelievable.
Mm.
But we've been on a very special journey. It was my directing debut.
Mhm.
She she was, it's difficult when someone's older and remembering lines and something's written for you. I think that comes with a lot of pressure. So she had to have a trust in me, which she did. So because of that, and because how sensitive the material is, I think we went on a real beautiful journey. And we are both so pleased and proud of the end result. And she's almost grateful, that she played it. It's just wonderful. And I adore her, really adore her. Yeah.
Great. All right, one more final question. Um, can both of you talk about the importance of having queer themes in your work in such an environment, political environment right now that is just so horrific and people are literally trying to erase us, pretend we don't exist? But why is it important to have films such as this right now?
Do you want to go, Kyle? Because I've just been chatting for a while.
Sure. Um, so I think when we're living through unprecedented times and times of violence and erasure, it's easy to feel like this hasn't happened before, and it's easy to feel like this is a unique kind of pain and pressure and social horror. And that isn't true. This has happened before. It happened in the 30s. It happened during the MacArthur era. It happened in Spain. It happened in a lot of rises of authoritarian regimes. And throughout these periods of history, we've seen that voices of dissent are actually safer. I mean, let me rephrase that. Obviously, there are consequences to speaking out, but for people who have allied with voices of dissent and who have been a part of this wave, it's caused more of a historical impact. And I think with every historical period, there's this thing called the Overton window, which is like a window of what society deems acceptable at any given time. And so maybe 10 to 15 years ago, the Overton window was more left, and now we're swinging way over to the right. But for me, I refuse to move with the window, and I refuse to alter my voice or my message to accommodate something that I know is categorically wrong and inhumane. And I will keep my feet firmly planted in the sand. And I feel very unwavering about that. That if we preemptively silence ourselves, then there's only worse to come. And so I think I get a lot of people saying, "This is so brave of you. This is so courageous, da da da." And it's being courageous and brave sucks. And it sucks that times necessitate that. But I refuse to move because that's a conclusion that I can't usher in quicker. And that I feel like as filmmakers, we have the duty to hold that line.
Thank you.
That was so eloquent. I don't know if I can. Um,
You got this weave.
it's just really heartbreaking, and it's very difficult not to wake up and scroll through your phone and just, it's now is the most important time. And as you say, Carl, and thank you for saying that. It's always nice to remember history and that people have been here before, and we always we do in the moment think, that almost we haven't been through this, but I think now is the most important time to tell our stories, to tell queer stories. I don't think there's enough. I don't think there can ever be enough. That's why this festival is so important, as all festivals, but especially all queer festivals to me. It's vital that we don't hold back and we share our stories with the world and we keep doing that. And I hope our films and just inspire other people. And Carl, your film sounds, I'm sorry you went through it. It sounds incredible. I can't, and a beautiful title. I can't wait to see it. It sounds really incredible and so important.
I can't wait to see yours too. I feel like
Oh.
all of us need to watch that right now. Just like we all just need like a little hug in the form of like a nice short film.
But it's interesting, like the audiences going around the world with A Friend of Dorothy and feeling different audiences need for something about
Mm,
love and connection despite
mm,
our differences. Like you feel people
yeah,
coming up to you who from various, just all types of people coming up, and that is when just we need to keep making this stuff because the audiences do want it, need it, they're there for it.
totally. Okay.
Exactly. All right. Simply Stunning, which is Simply Stunning, screened Saturday, October 4th at noon at the Midtown Arts Cinema, followed by a brief streaming window. Two of the films in the program are A Friend of Dorothy and After What Happened at the Library. Lee, Kyle, thank you so much for sharing these amazing films with us. And thank you for taking the time to talk to us this morning.
Pleasure. Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Kyle, I
Yeah,
cannot
pleasure having
wait
you.
to meet you in person. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you both so much. Have a great rest of the day.
You
Y'all
too.
too.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
So much.